So the conversation is, dear men, how can we love you better? Honest answers. And one of the responses was to stop giving us a second chance to hurt you, hold us accountable, expect more from us, no more mommying. And so I really like that, especially with it coming from a man, because as women, we've talked about this before, as women, we tend to fall into a mommy role with men, trying to help them grow and to guide them and to keep giving them do-overs. And you know what? This was an honest answer. As many opportunities as you give someone to hurt you, that's as many opportunities, many times as they will hurt you. So it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better. We've talked about the idea of somebody lying to you, the deceit that goes with that, the planning that goes along with lying to you. We've talked about people taking advantage of you and making ill use of you. All of those things that we talked about, none of that stuff is a surprise. When somebody, think about yourself, when you're trying to get over on somebody, it doesn't just happen that you got over on somebody. There's a plan that goes along with it. So when we have these relationships with men and we put ourselves in the mother role, one, because we feel like we're in a better position in our life, so we're already making a judgment on where they are. We may have a better job, we may have more money, and we want them. So when women want men and we start making all these concessions to show him that, oh, this is a good place to be, he knows he can fuck up as many times as he wants to, and we're going to just keep allowing them to come back. So that was a real honest answer to how do we love you better? And that's the truth. Hold them accountable for doing the bullshit that they do and not let people hurt you over and over. If it was girlfriends, if two women who are friend girls or girlfriends, if they had some of the issues that the male-female relationships had, those friendships would end immediately because the women are more inclined to hold each other accountable for the bullshit than we are to hold the men accountable for the bullshit. But men need it. Men need to grow up. A lot of them need to grow up. Some of them are grown up already. You know, it's different stages of existing. But if you find yourself dealing with a man who is not grown up or who's immature and you're mommying him and he's explaining to you why he did XYZ, why he continues to hurt you, why, well, blah, 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 blah. You're allowing those behaviors to continue. You're saying, okay, I understand why you hurt me and stay here and you're going to keep hurting me and I'm going to take it until you get fed up or you're in there and you got some kids or, you know, some extenuating circumstances that you can't leave. Well, stop doing that. Like, we have to be strong enough and aware enough of ourselves as people, not even just women, as people, to understand that our goodness is promised to us. Like, our goodness is promised to us. It doesn't come from a man mistreating us. That's holding us in the muck. That's holding us in place. That's you being held hostage by you trying to raise somebody else's child. You have no idea the shit they've been through in their life, what they've seen, why they are the way they are. But we feel like we want to keep them in our lives. So we want to do what we can do to keep them around. And it's damaging. So just like you hold your children accountable, you hold your coworkers accountable, you hold yourself accountable. Men aren't exempt from that. And I've told you guys before, I love men. Men are amazing. I give men so much respect and so much power and so much understanding because of the clarity at which they can see things, the clarity at which they move across the earth. And men see in a different space when they are not opposed to growing, when they are not opposed to growing up and accepting the responsibilities of being a man. And they see different from us. And I appreciate that, right? I love it. And I give them so much credit for it. However, when a man is not allowed to grow or to mature and he's afraid to move and he's stuck, he's not going to see. He can see in a very limited space, but he won't be able to see in a space to lead you or to give you insight on what's coming next, or even if there is a next. So we have to really be very careful with giving people a pass on bullshit. Hold people accountable for it. I mean, that's ultimately it. I mean, why wouldn't you? Aren't you worth it? Aren't you worthy of somebody being accountable for who they are and their actions? Aren't you worth that? Like, do we have to relegate ourselves to a position of being less than or to receive less because we hope he becomes? No, we can't do that, because if you allow yourself to get into a low space, that's where he's going to keep you. No man is going to, no man who loves you, who sees himself in you, sees you as an extension of who he is, will leave you in a low rung space. That's not what he wants to do. He wants to move you forward. He wants you to progress because he wants to. So we have to be very careful with that. And you know what? Stop treating men like babies. You know, if you're dating, and hell, men too, stop treating women like babies. You know what? Adults in a relationship are adults in a relationship. So I just wanted really to kind of touch that as my Facebook post of the week. And women want to know, how do we love you better? How do we treat me like a man? Treat me like a man, not like your child. Don't talk to me like a child. Don't berate me. Don't argue with me. Don't do any of that. Treat me like a whole ass man. Treat me like a man. That's going to be the best that you get out of me, because you're going to show me how I'm supposed to respond to you, because you're going to hold me accountable for the shit that I do. So that's